The tropics. An intricately woven ecosystem that is composed of the vast biodiversity and stabilizing climates that are vital for the existence of life on our planet. Regarded as the lungs of the earth, the elaborate waterways and impenetrable rainforests are home to thousands of unique species. These distinct flora and fauna are often found nowhere else on Earth, in which all play an essential role in the balance of our world's everyday functions. Along the tributaries and rivers of tropical environments, there can be found an extensive variety of wildlife. With a large number of birds inhabiting the area, such as shorebirds and coastal birds like this heron, smaller prey animals like lizards and fish must be wary. However, the herons are outmatched by the tyrants that govern these waters. Residing throughout the embankments of this river is a primeval saurian, the American crocodile. With breeding females measuring between 8 and 12 feet in length, and males reaching roughly 14 feet, crocodiles will consume most prey that comes their way in order to sustain their growth rates. The opportunistic nature of crocodile predation is generally geared towards fish, smaller reptilians, and small mammals, in which the adults feed most often at night. The daylight activity of these crocs is a result of sunning, a behavior used to regulate their body temperatures. Since crocodiles are ectothermic organisms, they rely on external sources of heat from their surroundings to balance their internal temperatures. This allows them to either bask in the sun with gaping mouths or to move to areas of warmer water. Due to historically high rates of poaching, some of which continues today, in addition to extensive habitat loss, American crocodiles have been listed as a vulnerable endangered species within the United States. While their numbers are currently on the ascent, it is still paramount that the natural territories of crocodiles are protected from the further invasion of human activity, in order to ensure these astounding beasts don't meet the same fate as their prehistoric cousins. Continuing down the river, another animal that is of reptilian origin and is a master of these waterways can be encountered. The common basilisk lizard, known more often as the Jesus Christ lizard for its ability to run across the water's exterior, resides around the rivers and streams of Central and South America. Along with their well-known dexterity with sprinting across water, the common basilisk is also well adapted to life on land and beneath the surface of the water. Basilisk lizards have been known to be proficient climbers and have also been documented with staying underwater for up to 30 minutes. The adaptation to run across water has developed primarily as an escape mechanism, in which the hind feet of the basilisk incorporate long toes and large scales that provide a greater surface area when darting across the top of the water. This squaw mate's prolonged fin tail comprises roughly 2/3 of the organism's body length, and is often used as a whip when threatened. Traversing to the internal regions of the tropical rainforest, we come across an abundance of biologically unique animals that hold significant parts in the stability of tropical ecosystems. Despite covering less than 8% of the planet, tropical rainforests are home to over half of the terrestrial species on Earth. Light from the sun comes barreling down on the tropics almost directly, processing extreme solar energy that leads to high temperatures ranging from 64 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit on average. In order to counteract this intense heat, hair-bearing animals like the collared peccary often find themselves in shaded areas or water puddles. The peccary diet consists most often of fruit, seeds, roots, and leaves, making them excellent seed dispensers of tropical vegetation. They've also been known to feed on certain smaller animals when available, including insects, mice, lizards, and frogs. The collared peccary live in herds of up to 30 individuals, and generally stay within a specific area during most of the year. For this individual, it can be somewhat challenging to find a square meal when there are dozens of other mouths competing for the same food. When on the move as a group, members travel forming a single file line, using determined paths and leaving an obvious trail. This game trail serves as a tip-off for hunters of both the four-legged and bipedal type. Despite having a majority of stable populations, along with being able to cope well with environmental change, the illegal hunting of peccary has greatly decimated some populations. A defining characteristic of the collared peccary is a musk gland located on the dorsal side of its rump, in which the peccary uses to identify other members of its group and mark its territory. Peccary are also, in fact, not a pig. While they may appear swine-like, they are a New World equivalent to true pigs and differ primarily in morphology. Not only do rainforests house the ability to self-sustain their own climate and organisms, but the capability to support life around the world has been studied in addition to the tropics' breath-giving qualities. More than 60% of anti-cancer medicines originate from natural sources, some of which can be found within tropical rainforests. The unique biodiversity that constitutes these dense tropical biomes has given rise to recent research aimed at examining the potential for novel cancer-fighting discoveries. One animal that plays a vital role in assisting the proliferation of this biodiversity is the iguana. With a primarily herbivorous diet, green and spiny-tailed iguanas favor food that consists of green leafy plants and ripe fruits, which aids in their useful seed-spreading abilities. Iguana hatchlings have been known to consume the feces of adults, a behavior that may be the result of an adaptation to acquire microflora to break down their food and assist in digestive absorption. Another behavior that is helpful towards digestion is basking. Much like their crocodilian cousins, ectothermic iguanas take part in sunning themselves to further along their metabolic processes. Iguanas have also been documented with using visual cues, such as head bobbing and the extension of their dewlaps in order to communicate with rivals. With generally sufficient food sources, the majority of quarrels between iguanas occur as a consequence of limited basking sites. In extreme occurrences, conflicts can induce physical contact like biting and tail whipping. However, there seems to be plenty of room for these individuals. Along with many other amphibians and reptiles, iguanas are important indicators of environmental changes. With reptiles being more susceptible to an altering ecosystem than humans, paying close attention to their responses can allow us to become informed on possible ecological problems prior to their substantial impacts. Rainforests are thought to be some of Earth's oldest living biomes, with some of today's present forms existing from the past 60 million years. As much as 400 species of trees can be found in a single hectare of forest. Among these trees is another towering individual, yet one that is more closely related to the blades of grass near the forest floor. Bamboos are members of the broadleaf grass family and are the only lineage of grasses capable of diversifying in forests as a result of their staggering growth and competitiveness amongst the trees. Bamboo is the fastest growing plant on Earth, with the tallest species reaching just under 100 feet in height. In ideal conditions, some species of bamboo can grow roughly 3 feet a day. With its CO2 filtering and oxygen-giving properties, as well as its significant growth rate, bamboo is an exceptionally sustainable material that holds many advantages when harvested ethically. Amidst the foliage of the understory, there can be found a peculiar mammal. Housed beneath a curled leaf is a colony of proboscis bats. The proboscis bat is a small member of the sac-winged bat family, where individuals are often a social and primarily nocturnal species. Colonies usually consist of anywhere from 3 to 45 bats, in which each colony can govern up to 6 different roosting sites. These microbats have brown dorsal sides with 2 off-white stripes that form a distinctive hourglass shape on their lower back and rump. Proboscis bats are habitually polygynous, where breeding females generally breed with dominant males. It is believed that the rest of the colony follows a hierarchy, in which reproductive females are ranked higher than non-reproductive females and non-dominant males. The annual survival rate of adult females of this species is found to be at least 79%. However, no lifespan record of the proboscis bat has been found. Departing from the mainland, we reach a unique ecosystem capable of surviving both saltwater and freshwater environments. The mangroves of this estuary possess remarkable root systems and salt glands that allow them to thrive within intertidal zones, serving as barriers for coastlines and stimulating biodiversity. Their specialized root systems help them stay upright in soils saturated with water, along with providing ample access to oxygen. Additionally, the dense root systems of mangroves protect coastlines from erosion, storms, and tsunamis. Some mangroves are known to have salt glands that filter excess salt from their leaves, further supporting their high salinity lifestyles. Mangrove forests have been known to be efficient in trapping various organic materials like carbon, as well as sufficient providers of important nutrients for coastal ecosystems. These nutrient-rich environments allow for highly diversified ecosystems, where mangroves often provide habitat and nursery grounds for an extensive range of both marine and terrestrial species. Along the canopy layer of this mangrove forest is a species specifically adapted for life in the trees. The black howler monkey is among the many New World monkeys that can be found in and around the mangrove ecosystems. Howler monkeys require forests with a diverse species of plant life to satisfy their diet, and are often seen foraging leaves but will also include fruits, buds, and flowers. Black howler monkeys rarely come down from the trees, as their food source remains mostly in the canopy, in which their water needs are also derived from. They generally reside in large social groups, most often made up of family members, and can include up to 19 individuals. An enlarged hyoid bone and larynx, which houses the vocal apparatus, allows for their distinctive howling communication. The black howler monkey also has strong, extended prehensile tails with hairless undersides that enable them to have sensitive touch and the ability to identify things in their environment, acting much like a fifth hand. The most curious member of this mangrove howler troop is this adolescent. Being classified as one of the largest monkeys of the Americas, this youngster will grow to be just under 33 pounds. Howler monkeys generally care for their young for about 12 months after they are born, and have been known to practice alloparenting, in which females, and in some cases adult males, will carry, groom, and protect offspring other than their own. After an early morning in the mangroves, it is time for the troop to trek further inland to forage for a new source of provisions. With a territory spanning roughly 31 hectares, howler monkeys typically only travel 1,300 feet per day. Yet no journey proves to be easy when you are a fraction of the size of your other troop members. First up is Mom, to show him how it's done. Now, it's Junior's turn. Stuck the landing. Producing one of the loudest calls by any land animal, a howler's call can be heard from up to 3 miles away. All members of a group call each morning to notify neighboring troops in the area of their position to ensure there is no overstepping on any boundaries. A well-deserved reward and some sustenance for the trip back home during the evening. While this troop has the privilege of traveling to different regions for feeding, a great deal of howler monkey groups are threatened by clear-cutting and selective logging within the primary forests rich in biodiversity. Much of their habitat is still being reduced by the destruction of the forest types that howler monkeys are heavily reliant on. While after a long day of traveling calls for a much-needed nap for the youngster and his mother, the imminent threat of deforestation creeps ever closer to this troop's territory, provoking a restless plight for the future of these primates. The vital role our planet plays in the existence of life is at a crossroads. While the Earth's immense biodiversity and climate management capabilities were once renowned for providing stability amongst the environments that constitute it, the incessant desecration of the globe's biosphere and atmosphere have resulted in astronomical complications for not only wildlife, but ourselves included. Our planet is now in the presence of a sixth mass extinction, the only extinction event to be caused solely by human activity. The constant exploitation and destruction of the environment has taken a toll on the planet, in which now the delicate ecosystems and organisms that inhabit them are hanging in a dangerous balance, with the jaws of complete eradication closing in. The human race is at the dawn of a new era, one of which will end briefly if we fail to comply with the manifested warnings of our remarkable planet. With such biologically convoluted environments seen throughout the equatorial ecosystems in this episode, no matter how small, no act of conservation is futile when aimed at preserving our Earth. British broadcaster and biologist Sir David Attenborough once said, "The fact is that no species has ever had such wholesale control over everything on Earth as we now have. That lays upon us, whether we like it or not, an awesome responsibility. In our hands now lies not only our own future, but that of all other living creatures with whom we share the Earth."